Hello and welcome to the channel. Yesterday, Nigeria workers through the Nigeria Labour Congress NLC made some demands of the federal government, especially in line with the proposed subsidy removal, which is bound to cause more hardship, as well as the country's increase in debt concern. The federal government, on its part, made its own demands of the NLC. Two can play the game, it would seem. Subscribe, like, share, and comment. Thank you. Workers demand better pay amid subsidy and debt concerns. Despite the country's debt burden and lingering confusion over fuel subsidy removal, labor unions yesterday demanded better welfare just as the outgoing and incoming government sought understanding of the workers on action plans. Indeed, the governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, 2 years after he raised the alarm that the federal government was broke and printed about 60 billion naira to augment allocation to states, yesterday sounded another warning bell that the federal government may not be able to pay workers' salaries beyond June without massively printing money or removing petrol subsidy. Speaking at the Workers' Day celebration in Benin, the capital of Edo, Obaseki said Nigerians and workers in particular will face hardship if the government decides on any of the options. It will be a miracle for the federal government and state governments to pay salaries beyond June this year without resorting to massively printing money or removing fuel subsidy. Either of these decisions will bring more hardship and pain to Nigerians, particularly workers, he said. We must all make sure that the burden and pain of these measures which must be taken are not carried by workers alone. Workers must now rise and ensure that they champion any discussion on subsidy removal. You must shift from the tradition of reacting when these policies have been made, but insist that you take charge and ensure full transparency and disclosure. If we are all undertaking a reform, then the benefits and pains that will come out of the reforms must be mutually shared by all Nigerians, not just the downtrodden. Recall that Nigeria spent 2.4 trillion naira to offset subsidy payments in 7 months, even as it plans to spend about 6 trillion naira on subsidy in 2023. However, organized labor has vowed to take action against state governments that are yet to fully implement the national minimum wage law, as well as governors who still hold salaries, pensions, and allowances. Labor said some state governments have refused to comply with the provisions of the 2019 National Minimum Wage Act, while some others have pocketed deducted check of dues belonging to trade unions. President of Nigeria Labour Congress NLC Joe Ajaero and his Trade Union Congress of Nigeria TUC counterpart Festus Osifo said this in their addresses yesterday during the celebration of Workers' Day at the Eagle Square in Abuja. They equally pointed at some private sector employers that have begun to act in total disregard to the nation's laws, stating that they should be prepared for more robust engagement with organized labor. Speaking on the theme, Workers' Rights and Social Economic Justice, Ajaero reiterated labor's preparedness to resist every action of the government to inflict suffering on Nigerian workers and masses. He said labor will not allow its members to be turned mindlessly into beasts of burden any longer. We will stand together as workers and as a people to protect our rights to decent work and social justice. Why will the welfare of workers be seen as charity? Why would government at diverse levels owe workers arrears of salaries running into years without remorse? Why the lethargy in paying workers their hard-earned money? He said. Ajaero also demanded that the salary of core civil servants should be beefed up to narrow the gap between the emoluments of civil servants and those of employees in other segments of the public service. According to him, since they all possess the same educational qualifications and cognate experience on the job, there should be no disparity. In Lagos, where the celebrations was held at Onikon Stadium, NLC chairman Funmi Sesi urged the federal government to use the $800 million World Bank subsidy palliative to fix the nation's 4 refineries. She said the need was necessary so that independent marketers could reduce the importation of petroleum products to the barest minimum. She implored the federal government to quickly do the turnaround maintenance of the nation's 4 refineries before the total removal of the fuel subsidy. Similarly, our Lagos TUC chairman counterpart, Gbenga Ekundayo, said there was no doubt the fact that the removal of fuel subsidy would usher in a new era of mass poverty in the country due to some of its immediate negative consequences on salary and wages earners. He said Lagos, being the most populated part of the country and the commercial nerve center of the country, would bear the majority of the brunt of post-fuel subsidy removal. Subscribe, like, share, comment, and please turn the notification bell on. Thank you. He queried what palliatives are being put in place to cushion the effect on Lagosians should the federal government go ahead to remove fuel subsidy, and urged the incoming administration to consult widely and put adequate measures in place before embarking on such a sensitive policy that was capable of creating serious challenges for the citizens. Meanwhile, the first phase of a project to rehabilitate Nigeria's 210,000 BD Port Harcourt refinery, which had been slated for completion in April this year, may not be finished for another 4 months at least, according to sources. The federal government had awarded Italian engineering firm Maire Tecnimont a $1.5 billion contract for the rehabilitation work in April 2021. At the time, the Italian company said the first phase of the work would be completed in 24 months, with the second and third phases taking 32 and 44 months, respectively. But the first phase has missed its April 2023 target and may not be completed until September, according to an oil ministry source. The source suggested that September may be ambitious, indicating that a quick fix program at Nigeria's 125,000 BD Warri refinery, scheduled to finish by November, could be completed first. Warri is undergoing a $492 million repair program under a contract awarded to South Korean engineering firm Daewoo. In his May Day address to workers yesterday, President Muhammadu Buhari urged President-elect Bola Tinubu to respect workers' rights when he assumes office. Represented by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation SGF, Boss Mustafa, at the Workers' Day event in Abuja, Buhari said workers' rights coupled with socio-economic justice ensure happiness of workers. That's the news, guys. Thanks for listening. Until next time, bye.